Welcome into Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we're going to take an inside look at our NFL Daily Show from our main Chat Sports channel, where we were answering mailbag questions from across the National Football League, including a few on your Baltimore Ravens and some potential trade targets. We'll examine those potential trade ideas. I'll give my thoughts on those ideas in just a matter of moments. Before we do, got to make sure you're subscribed to Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports, as we are bringing you daily coverage here on the channel with news and rumors, fan-led live shows, watch parties, Q&A mailbags, and more. If you love the Baltimore Ravens, this is the channel for you. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed to Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. I want to get at least 20 subs off today's video. Can you guys make it happen? If you do, you are not going to regret it. I can promise you that much. Let's get started here on Ravens Rundown. Could the Ravens trade for Danielle Hunter? Wouldn't that be interesting if the Ravens made a trade for Danielle Hunter? Danielle Hunter is off to a fantastic start to 2023, currently second in the league in sacks. He has looked fantastic so far this season. And the way that his contract is kind of structured, it's really just a one-year situation. The Vikings are not a very good football team, expected to be sellers at the deadline here. Watch out for the Baltimore Ravens to make a potential move to bring him in. I think the Ravens are among a number of teams that would be interested in the services of Danielle Hunter. You look at that Ravens team, and they're a very solid bunch. I like what they have to offer on both sides of the football, but they're still looking for a little extra of some sorts. Now, it might be on offense, but we've seen historically speaking, when you think Ravens football and the identity of that organization, it starts and it ends with that defense. You already have Roquan Smith there. You already have Patrick Queen there. You add Danielle Hunter into the fold, and now you're talking about potentially making the Ravens the best defense in football. Now, their pass rush has done a pretty decent job the last couple of weeks, but you can never have too many pass rushers. Danielle Hunter would be a game changer for Baltimore. I think you could probably pull him in for about a second and a fifth-round pick. Should the Ravens trade for Danielle Hunter? Weigh in, tell us what you think in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Our pinned comment today, weigh in and tell us what you think if the Ravens should make a trade for Hunter or not. Let us know in the comment section below. Now let's take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor. That is RexMD. Fellas, do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? Do you wish you could have a more fulfilling sex life? Well, you're not alone. That's why we're excited to tell you about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. RexMD offers an easy and discreet way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the US of A, so you can trust its quality. Plus, their customer support team is available 24/7 to answer any questions or concerns you may have. So if you're ready to take control of your sex life and say goodbye to ED, head on over to RexMD.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and get up to 95% off RexMD plus a free gift with our exclusive link. That's RexMD.com/chat. Go to RexMD.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's RexMD.com/chat for up to 90% off. All right. Steve Carell, he could probably use some RexMD. He writes in, what are the chances Marquise Brown returns to Baltimore? Steve, very good question as far as Marquise Brown goes. So the Cardinals are very much sellers at the trade deadline. One of the worst teams in the league, and you have to think that everybody is up for grabs as they really start this rebuild for that Arizona Cardinals team. Marquise Brown, the Cardinals have not gotten what they had hoped for out of Marquise Brown, as he's dealt with a lot of injuries there, and they gave up a first-round pick. If they had to do it over again, there's no way in hell they would have given up that much. The Ravens won that trade big time. Now, as far as going back to Baltimore, it's possible, but I don't think Marquise Brown really liked his time in Baltimore. He made it very clear that he didn't like the system that was in place, and even this Todd Monken offense isn't necessarily going to fulfill, I think, Marquise Brown's desires of what he's looking for. So I doubt it that Marquise Brown comes back to Baltimore, but with OBJ kind of inconsistent at the moment and the Ravens going all in on this year, I wouldn't rule out them bringing in a receiver, but I would be surprised if Marquise Brown was that receiver for the Ravens. What are the chances the Ravens trade for Marquise Brown? Weigh in, tell us in that comment section. Scale it 1 through 10, how likely you think it is that Brown ends up in Baltimore. If you're looking for more daily NFL coverage, you've come to the right place. NFL Daily by Chat Sports is bringing you daily news and rumors. We also do our live Red Zone channel on Sundays. We do mailbag segments and more. You got to subscribe to NFL Daily for the latest happenings across the National Football League. We got you covered. We're going to have our live trade deadline coverage coming up in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe now for free. NFL Daily by Chat Sports. You'll be glad you did. Cameron writes in, do you think we will trade Devonte Adams, and what would be the best price for the Raiders in return? I don't think the Raiders are trading Devonte Adams. I think the Raiders are going to stay put as is because McDaniels and Ziegler know that they would be going out together, essentially. If McDaniels gets fired, Ziegler's probably getting fired too. And they're in a weird position where they can still contend to make a playoff spot right now. So with that said, I think they're hanging on with Devonte Adams for now. I would be shocked if they got the return on investment of what they got when the trade was made a couple years ago, when the Raiders gave up a lot of picks to bring in Devonte Adams. I think at this point, with him being a little older now, with him being on that huge contract, you probably get a first-round pick, and that might be it potentially for Devonte Adams. Sean Walsh writes in, will the Chiefs trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire before the trade deadline? Sean, why would anyone want CEH? That's the question I have. CEH is a former first-round pick. He hasn't played that well. He's been given every single opportunity to succeed with that Kansas City Chiefs offense. I don't know why anyone would want to make a move for CEH. I think that he's more likely to be released than he is to be traded, if we're going to be frank with you. So I don't see a trade going down. It's not that the Chiefs don't want to get rid of him, but no one's going to take him off their hands and get something for him. It's BXPE writes, what's your thoughts on the Steelers' offense and what could they do to make a difference? The O-line sucks. Matt Canada is an awful OC, and Kenny Pickett has clearly regressed. He doesn't look like the quarterback that the Steelers had hoped for. With that said, I don't see much of a point of return for this Steelers team. They might try to go get some offensive linemen to try to salvage this, but they got way too many problems for that Steeler offense to be a competitive football team right now, at least a serious team. I know their record has them in contention, but the Steelers are eventually going to hit a wall and fall off. I feel pretty confident in saying that. Daniel writes in, do you see the Cowboys getting Derrick Henry? That's a good question. I think Derrick Henry, anyone that's willing to give up a good trade package could have a chance. I would be surprised if Dallas does, though, because you already have Tony Pollard there. Deuce Vaughn, there's a lot of excitement about what he could potentially bring to the table. Somebody could make an aggressive move for Derrick Henry. I doubt Dallas is that team to do it, though. Joshua writes, what are the odds the Ravens are getting Jerry Jeudy? That's an intriguing idea, Joshua, sending Jerry Jeudy to the Ravens. And, if you send him to Baltimore, he'll get playing time immediately. He'd be playing with the best quarterback he's ever played with. And the trade value after Steve Smith Sr. was talking his smack and all that, that actually might have hurt Jerry Jeudy's trade value potentially. You might be able to pull it in with a second or third round pick. Eric DeCosta before this year wasn't one to spend a lot on receivers. That's kind of changed over the last few months. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's unlikely. But if the Ravens decided to pull the trigger and go get Jerry Jeudy, that might be a solid move potentially for the Ravens to do so. Subscribe now to Chat Sports for more NFL coverage each and every day. We got you covered. We'll see you next time right here on the channel.